Welcome to the Fitness Business Marketing Show, sponsored and created by Marketing for Gyms and Personal Trainers, one of the leading and most respected marketing companies in the fitness industry today. Hi, I'm Allison Briggs, and I'd like to introduce you to the creators of the show, industry leaders and all-around nice guys, Frank Smarelli and Brad Cusworth. With a combined industry experience of over 40 years, having owned and operated personal training studios, health clubs, and managed well over 60 staff members, you're sure to get lots of valuable information from this week's show. So without further ado, let's jump straight in.
Thanks, Alison, and welcome everyone to show number 2. We received some absolutely amazing feedback from the first Fitness Business Marketing Show a few weeks ago. So huge thank you to everyone who provided comments and feedback. We definitely appreciate it. We also received some questions on our website as well over the last couple of weeks as well, which is awesome. So thank you for that. And we'll be covering some of these questions later on in the show. So let's get straight into it. Frank, how's things, mate?
I'm really good, Brad. Just was rapt to hear so many people, just commenting, even sending, even existing clients and, friends and family were on the first episode just to get, even the odd text message here and there saying, well done, lots of energy, guys. So, no, it was really good. Like I said in episode 1, Brad, we'd kind of been talking about this for about a year and we've had other priorities to get through in our business at Marketing for Gyms and Personal Trainers. But it was so good to get the first one through and, looking forward to the second one. What has caught your eye this week in the fitness industry?
Yeah, so mate, today I'm going to talk about do-it-yourself websites. So it's one of my pet hates, so I thought I'm going to get this off my chest nice and early so I can move on from it.
I think it's going to sound a little bit like my weekly rant, but go for it. I'm looking forward to listening to this. Go for it.
I think it might, mate. But I was scrolling the newsfeed of Facebook the other day and it just triggered my mind about this topic because I saw a personal trainer who had literally just launched their brand new website and they'd even spent a bit of money to boost it out, which was great to see. But when I clicked on the link, it was really bad, mate. Like he was obviously very excited about what he'd created, which was awesome. And he'd done that boosted post to get the word out there and tell everyone about it. But I clicked on the link and, mate, I have to be totally honest here. It looked like absolute rubbish.
Crap.
He'd used one of the free website platforms, maybe like a Wix or something like that, and it just looked a bit like a dog's breakfast. So the logo was all squashed and out of proportion. He didn't have any social media icons. He didn't have his phone number.
Brad, are you really surprised? Sorry to interrupt there, but are you really surprised? Because you've been building websites, and I often say this, and I don't say it because you're my business partner, but you've been building websites in the fitness industry for fitness professionals for 10 years, and I can honestly say, listeners, no one builds better websites than Brad, and I mean that. So, are you really surprised to be seeing that though this week?
Not surprised at all, but I had to bring it up on this podcast because it's something that has really frustrated me. I've been, as you said, building websites for 10 years. And once again, it comes back to mindset. We talked a lot about mindset in episode 1, but I think people, once again, they're not really treating it like a real business. They're sort of like a half-assed approach, if I can use that term. It's just like not really doing things properly. So just when I looked at this website, it just triggered my mind once again about how many PTs are out there trying to save money but putting more time into it, which is people I think don't view time as money sometimes when it comes to business. I had one client recently who spoke to about getting a new website up and running, and they sort of came back to me and said, oh look, I'm going to have a crack at it myself. And I thought, okay, give it a go. And then literally this guy spent 3 weeks straight trying to build his own website, and 3 weeks later he called me up and he said, Brad, I've just wasted 3 weeks of my life. My website looks like a piece of you-know-what. And I said, and I had a look at it, I said, mate, you're right. It looks crap. So we had to start fresh. Initially, he was trying to save a little bit of money and do it himself, but he wasted 3 weeks of his life when he could have been spending that time on marketing his business more effectively. Actually generating clients and getting more clients through the door. So it's something that I think people need to learn to outsource the things that they don't have strengths in when it comes to business, and really leave it to the professionals rather than trying to do everything and trying to wear all the hats in their business. Creating a successful business is hard enough as it is without trying to do everything yourself. So when it comes to business and marketing, I really believe it's something that's worth doing, then it's worth doing properly. And
for sure,
you may save a few dollars up front, but how much is that going to cost you in the long term, in the long run in your business? So,
and Brad, what's our business philosophy? It's almost like our mission statement, listeners. What's and it's got to do with potatoes. What is our mission statement within our business?
Well, we always say no half-baked potatoes, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Which really applies in this case, hey? Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And guys, it's like Brad's almost been reading my weekly rant notes, and he hasn't, I can assure you. But basically, you've got to know your strengths, delegate your weaknesses. Know your strengths, delegate your weaknesses. That's the key point. That's one of the key reasons why our business has been so successful. But I guess personal trainers and even club operators and managers are kind of trying to save a buck here and there, but it actually costs you in the long run.
Yeah, totally agree. I just want to leave people with this before we move on. When someone lands on your website, you have less than 5 seconds to create a great first impression before they leave your site and never come back again. So
not much time.
Yeah, your website's so important. 90% of people will check out your website before they make contact with you. So when they do check it out, you want to ensure that you create a great impression and then you get the lead, most importantly. So yeah, I encourage everyone to visit their website today, use the 5-second rule, click on it and just take an honest opinion of your own website. If you're a prospect landing on that website, would you be inspired to take action and actually connect with you? Or would you think, oh God, this guy's half-baked? So
what's your saying, Brad, about your websites? Like, your websites are the front door of your retail store. It's the front door of your business.
Absolutely.
And if the front door is crappy and it's on 2 hinges and it's on its last legs and the handle's crappy, well, people are going to get that impression of your actual business, and not only your business but potentially you as well.
Exactly. And just one final point on that. This guy that I checked out the website, and this is really common, is that the images that he had on that website were terrible. He had an image of a completely empty PT studio, and the amount of people that do this in, oh my God.
I know. Photos of empty gyms or empty studios, listeners, that is half-baked.
Yeah.
That is half-baked.
Totally. You've got to get some energy and life into your website. Like, people need to see your members in there training, having fun, high energy, because that's what they'll connect with. So
definitely.
Yeah, it should have been called
well
Brad's
done,
Weekly Rant, but yeah.
Well done, mate.
Well done. Let's move on. So next up we have Frank's book review. What have you been reading, mate?
Yeah, this is really cool, Brad. I read this book by Gary Vaynerchuk probably about, it'd have to be close to 2 years ago now. It's called Jab, Jab, Right Hook. And I went to try to pull it out of the cupboard about a month ago, and I couldn't find it. And my gut feeling is I must have lent it to someone. You know how I feel about my books. I don't lend my books to anyone, but I must have lent that to someone, and I couldn't find it. So I basically ordered it, and it came through last week, and I read it again. It's one of those books, listeners, Jab, Jab, Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. He's probably the number one, or one of the number one social media type of agencies or coaches in the world. I'm sure people know about Wine Library. He's been around for a hell of a long time. It is such an amazing book. I know this is a big call, but I'd have to say it's one of my favorite business books of all time. And some people might say, well, Frank, it's not really a business book. It's more of a social media book. But if any personal trainer, club operator, or club owner is doing their own Facebook management or wants to learn more about Facebook and even Instagram and other social platforms like Pinterest, go and buy this book. Like, for $35 or $40, I cannot speak highly enough. It's full color, glossy books, tons of information about what to do, what not to do, samples of great posts, poor posts, good posts. It's just a fantastic book. So I just want to kind of take away my key takeaway. So Gary was really famous for his Wine Library episodes on YouTube, but probably ran for about, close to 10 years, it seemed like. He now runs Vayner Media with his brother in the US, and I think they turn over an absolute squillion. And as I said before, I think it's one of the best, if not the best. I know it's a big call, but it's probably one of the best, if not the best, social media books ever written. Wow. In short, I guess he talks about, Brad, kind of like different definitions. So it's almost like a boxing match. So I guess a right hook content aims to it's probably a self-promotion type of post. It's more of a sales-based post, whereas jabs are content-based posts that aim to engage and trigger an emotional response. So think of right hooks as sales, and kind of jabs as probably more organic type of content. Gary also has a long list of examples that reveals different brands that are throwing too many right hooks on social platforms, and people that probably are not understanding how those specific platforms actually engage the consumer on a much deeper level. He emphasizes, Brad, time and time again, that you just need really well-timed jabs that resonate with followers. Like he says that, and this really resonates with me. So, in a boxing match, is the right hook the most important punch, or is it the jab that sets up the right hook? Now, if you know anything about boxing or martial arts, it's the jab that actually sets up the big punch. So he says, rather than doing right hook after right hook, so sales-based post after sales-based post, which is really killing Facebook, if you want me to be honest, you've got to start to be able to create and really engage with jabs. So jabs over the right hooks. And I know, Brad, you're kind of, maybe you can even give the listeners some take on, you hate people blatantly selling on Facebook, don't you?
Oh, mate, it's one of my pet hates. I actually get quite fired up about it, but I won't go on about it now. But yeah, the key, I think we mentioned this in episode 1 as well, the key when it comes to marketing, you've really got to focus on building those relationships and adding value and not just spewing up over everyone.
Selling.
Yes, social media is all about connecting and building relationships and actually engaging and caring about people. It's not about, look at me, sign up for the next 2 weeks for $29.
Definitely.
Without actually taking that time to build that relationship. So
totally.
It's definitely a fine art, but it's something that once you put more attention on building those relationships, the results that it will generate in your business are worlds apart.
I agree. Look, he really speaks more about this in his videos. I follow Gary, as you know, really closely. And he just goes, social is not a magic pill. It's not like you can, start posting on Facebook and Instagram and build an empire overnight. Like, he actually scoffs at that. Like, it's all about hard work. So if you think that optimizing your social pages is going to change your business within an hour, within a day, or within a week, or even a month, it's not going to happen. So the thing is, it's almost slow and steady, but you've got to start somewhere, and it's all about optimizing your Facebook pages and your social pages to increase interaction. What I also love about the book, Brad, is Vaynerchuk also writes a brief history of all the main social platforms and shows the reader many different kind of post examples. Some, like I mentioned before, some great and some that kind of completely miss the mark. So you actually see live examples. The book is full color, so you actually see live examples of what's a really bad post and what's a really good one. Love that side of the book. Gary's vision is also about just making sure that we're posting engaging content that's actually going to build your brand awareness through non-selling. So he's a massive believer in jab, and hence the reason that the name of the book, it's about jab, and then right hook, and it takes time. If there's one thing, like people often say, what's the biggest thing that you take from Gary's books, and I've got all of them, and his videos and stuff, is I love the fact that he says to people, like I just mentioned a moment ago, it takes time. You're not going to have an amazing Facebook page and then 1 week later you're going to have an amazing business. The book is an all-time New York bestseller, and it's certainly a book, as I said, if you're a fitness professional wanting to know more about social platforms, or you're a club operator or club manager, go and get the book. It's one of those books, guys, that you can, the listeners, Brad, could literally read this in probably 2 nights. It's got lots of different images. But the key point is making sure that we're posting organic content first and foremost, and then making offers down the track. So it's almost like, in many ways, Brad, it's like what we teach. It's almost like subconscious or subliminal selling and not straightforward selling. And that's kind of the essence of the book. Fantastic book if you want to know more about social platforms.
Awesome, mate. Just another note on that as well for our listeners. Make sure you're consistent with your posting. So there's no point doing this strategy for 2 or 3 weeks and then you go missing for about a month. You need to make sure that you're consistent with this strategy on an ongoing basis, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. And over time, you build that relationship, and that will then result in more prospects, more leads, and ultimately more members and clients for your business.
Well said, Brad. Cheers, mate.
Cool. So before we move on to our Q&A section, Alison has a quick message from our podcast sponsors.
I'd like to say a quick thank you to one of our major sponsors, Gympages. You can visit their website at www.gympages.net for more information on how to easily create customized landing pages and websites for your fitness business. Now back to the Fitness Business Marketing Show.
Thanks, Alison. So, Frank, what else do you have for our listeners this week, mate?
So, Brad, every episode, as you know, we'll be answering 2 questions from our listeners. If you have a question that you would like answered, simply go to our website, www.marketingforgyms.com. Click on the podcast tab in the top menu bar, and scroll down and click onto the banner that says Ask a Question. This will then open up a pop-up and you'll be able to answer your question directly into that pop-up. So the question that I have, Brad, and openly, I had this question come through via email if you're in the US and Canada. The question was, what percentage of our marketing budget should be spent on member retention compared to lead acquisition? I look at that. That's a high-end question, Brad. Like, that is a a really quality question. I'm going to say that question. I'm going to read that question out again. So what percentage of our marketing budget, again, this is an Anytime Fitness Club manager in in Sydney, New South Wales, East Coast of Australia. What percentage of our marketing budget should be spent on member retention compared to lead acquisition? So to answer that from an overview perspective rather than chunk down, I personally think, generally speaking, 50% of your marketing budget should be spent on member retention compared to lead acquisition. I just want to quickly say this. So kind of back 10 years ago, people used to fight the retention or the attrition war with a more sales mentality. There is no way that you can win the war against attrition, the loss of monthly members, with lead acquisition. There is so many people that come and reach out to me and say, Frank, we did 60 sales last month at our Plus Fitness or our Jets or our Snap or Anytime Good Life. We did 60 sales, but we lost 50. Frank, we did 80 sales last month, but we lost 75. Frank, we did 48 sales last month, but we lost 55. You cannot combat natural attrition or attrition full stop with lead acquisition. I said this in episode 1. And I know it sounds very cliched, 6 times more expensive to actually attract a new lead into your business, the front door of your business, than it does to keep a member coming in. So for me, to keep this really simple, to answer the question, from a simplistic perspective, I would spend 50% of my marketing budget, bedroom, I was going to say, that sounds really weird, doesn't it? Budget, Brad, on lead, on member retention compared to lead acquisition. Now, how does that look like? Well, it might, depending on what brand you have, it may look different to a big box club compared to a small box club. But what I'm trying to say is you need to allocate time, energy, money, and effort into making sure that you're retaining your members. And Brad, how passionate I am about this, in retaining your members, because at the end of the day, quick 30-second take, every club globally or every personal training studio globally pulls from a certain radius, a certain geographical radius from their club. I call that a geographic wake-up call. Now, it's going to get to a certain stage when you can no longer pull people from that specific geographical area because there's no more people to pull. So unless corporates are coming into that area, unless new residential buildings are being built where new people are coming in, fresh leads are coming into that geographical area, you're always going to be marketing to the same people. Now, I believe that after a 3.5 to 4 year period, and there's tons of research on this, it tells us that pool of prospects in which you pull from actually dries up. So if you're not retaining your members, I can guarantee this, that there will be a certain level within 3 to 5 years where your business will actually start to plateau. And I see this with clients, people that reach out to me say, oh, Frank, we were doing so well, but kind of as soon as we hit that 3.5, 4 year mark, we're actually going backwards. And when I ask them to send me the statistics over the last 12 months, their cancellations and their sales for the actual month, you can clearly see that there's that equilibrium. And that's basically because, not necessarily because they're doing a lack of marketing, and it could well mean that, but the thing is people are just losing too many people down the back end. And the program I run, Brad, called Plug the Leak. So You've got to make sure that you're putting as much energy, time and effort and money into retaining your members compared to lead acquisition. There's my short and brief answers to the question.
Awesome, mate. I love it.
Okay, Brad, what question do you have for the listeners this week?
All right. So next we have a question from Jane. Now, Jane's just started a brand new PT business in Perth, Western Australia. So okay. Jane said this was actually on our website over the last couple of weeks from our last podcast. So Jane said, hi, my name's Jane. I'm a brand new PT in the fitness industry and noticed that so many trainers are running challenges these days. Should I focus on getting more clients into my weekly PT sessions, or should I start to run challenges?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, really good.
I mean, if you look on Facebook or Instagram, everyone's running challenges. So I think, yeah, that's a great question. I'm looking forward to your answer.
Cool. So, yeah, Jane, there's no doubt that running group training challenges is an absolutely amazing way to build a successful PT business, without a doubt. Now, if you're a brand new PT, however, I do recommend starting out with one or two, a few either one-on-one sessions or two-on-one sessions. Start with that just to build your confidence and experience as a personal trainer initially. It's really important you build that initial foundation, especially if you've just done your Cert 3 and 4, you're brand new, maybe you haven't got a huge amount of experience training other people. I'm not sure about your specific situation, but I'm going to answer this based on someone who's just done Cert 3 and 4, pretty green, pretty fresh, and they're just starting. So I recommend initially really focusing your energy on building a solid foundation. So, getting your first maybe 10, 15, 20 clients, doing your one-on-one sessions, two-on-one sessions, really focusing on building your brand, posting on Facebook regularly, increasing your exposure in your local area, and really getting that initial foundation really solid in your business and getting more confidence, more exposure. Now, after that initial, might take you a few months to get to that level, but after that initial few months and you've built that good foundation, my advice is to then start looking at expanding into small group training or take the next steps to running challenges over a set period of time. So it might be, even these days it's really popular to do your 28-day challenge, might be 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Now, challenges and group training sessions are fantastic for PTs and definitely something we highly recommend, because one of the biggest, I'm sure you agree, Frank, one of the biggest issues with being a PT is that you only have so many hours in a week to train clients in one-on-one sessions, right?
For sure.
You soon, and I know I got to this point when I was a PT many years ago. I got to a point where I was doing maybe 40, 50 sessions, 1 hour sessions per week. And I really hit that upper limit or that ceiling on the amount of income that I could generate, started to burn myself out as well. So when you get to that point, group training or challenges is a fantastic way to really leverage your time, as you can make a lot more money per session, and you don't even have to wait till you get to that 40 or 50 level. It's something you can implement much earlier these days. So I'll just give a quick example where my wife Sarah and I have a business called SJ Mind Body Training. Now, we have a really simple model where the only thing we do is 8-week group training programs. Now, our program's just for women. That's just the niche that we're focusing on, but we do 4 8-week training programs a year, and we've actually now gone to 8 of those, so we run them back to back. Now, the model that we have 30 women in each program. We run 2 programs back to back, as I said, and we have a total of 60 women, so 30 in each one. Now, it's a great model because Sarah only does 3 sessions per week in each group, so the total is 6 sessions per week over the 2 groups. Now, it works out, we make around about $18,000 to $20,000 in every 8-week block, which works out to be around about $400 per hour. Now, compare that to
not bad.
It's not bad, hey. So compare that to most trainers who, they might charge, anything between 60 to 100, 150 an hour, whatever they are in their local market. But it's a great model. You get to help a lot more people at once. You get to leverage. You get to really tap into that group training environment where there's a real community feel. We have a private Facebook group, and it's a great way to really leverage your business and
and make more money
and make more money at the end of the day, which is at the end of the day, that's what we're in business for, right? And you get to serve more people as well. So to sum it up, I recommend getting some experience first with one-on-one clients. When you feel that your confidence is building, then you can move on to group training and challenges, and that will really leverage your time and also make a lot more money in your business.
Is it almost the philosophy, Brad, when it comes to this sort of stuff and answering that question? You've almost got to learn to walk before you can run. And I know some digital marketers out there in this internet world that we live in now just go, you can basically build a business and make $1 trillion in about 4.5 hours. Yep. Honestly, guys, that's the people that are making money are the people that are actually selling those programs and courses.
Totally
so
true.
I concur with you 100%. I think you've got to walk before you can run, and I think you've got to set a strong foundation before you can go out. Like, I think it's a mistake for a person to go and get certified. So get their Cert 4 here. Let's talk about Australia. So get their Cert 4. And then to think that they can go and open up like a challenge business and make basically, $400 an hour. I think you've got to set up your solid foundations before you can launch something like that. Is that what you're kind of getting at, Brad?
100%. Yep, definitely. Once you've got that foundation, then you can launch into a huge range of things. It might be group training, it might be challenges, it might be creating your own online programs and selling those, which I'm sure we'll cover in a future episode. But there's so many options. But just
get your processes right.
Walk first and then work up to sprinting later on.
Beautiful, mate. Well said.
Cool. So that brings us on to our next segment.
And now it's time for Frank's Weekly Rant.
Thank you. I love that. Thanks, Alison. My weekly rant. Doing your own graphic design. Jeez, I've got to make sure that I calm down for this one, Brad.
Breathe, mate, breathe.
Like I said in episode 2 of the Fitness Business Marketing Show, there are so many existing brands growing globally and even more new brands coming into the market, whether that be the New Zealand market, Canada, UK, America, etc. Most of these fitness businesses are fighting for the same market. I mean, that's the reality. So rather than succumbing to the competition, be better than the competition with everything you do. One thing that really, really irks me, Brad, is when I see PTs or club operators or managers creating their own, I guess I'm going to call them marketing tools, when they're creating their own Facebook banners and their own boosted post images and flyers and posters and signage. If you're a skilled designer, okay, cool, I can kind of suck that up, but I've got kind of no qualms with that. But some of the shit that I see, honestly, people creating and using as marketing tools, listeners, this sort of stuff can actually hurt your brand. There's more drawback than benefit. This actually hurts the business that you're actually trying to run. So I was taught early on in my business career that the way you do one thing is the way you do most things. And that's worth repeating. The way you do one thing is the way you do most things. Now, I have a really close mate of mine that doesn't adhere to that strategy. And I admit that I have a bit of a full-on personality. But if you're going to do something, what do we say, Brad? What's our mission statement? No half-baked
potatoes.
Yeah, if you're going to do something, you do it properly. So there's some of the crap that I actually see on people's Facebook pages is actually cringeworthy. So the key is, it's such a competitive industry, so you've got to step up, and everything you do in your business should be world class. Now, it doesn't have to be world class from day dot, but you've got to literally delegate to the people that know what they're doing. So my attitude to business is know your strengths, delegate your weaknesses. Know your strengths, delegate your weaknesses. I mean, this is one of the main reasons why Marketing for Gym has been Marketing for Gyms has been going for 10 years, and it's a successful company. I'm going to say that might sound a bit cocky, but we do well. And part of the reason why we do well is because we understand what our strengths are. Brad understands what my strengths are. I understand what his strengths are, but we also understand our individual weaknesses and our company weaknesses. So we delegate that. It is absolute. It is astounding. I would jump on at least, I would see at least a couple of Facebook pages every single day that are cringeworthy. Like, what are people thinking putting up banners with just really, really average text? And then another thing that really irks me, and Brad, I'm going to try to stay calm, is when you see a banner on a PC or a Mac that's not mobile friendly. So when you jump on a mobile device, it's half cut off. And I know that's one of your pet hates as well. Yeah, so like literally jumping on a mobile device. I mean, 88% of people in the US and Australia search on Facebook on a mobile device. So if you're going to create a banner or a boosted post, at least make it mobile friendly. So my rant for this week, Brad, delegate your weaknesses and stop doing your own crappy graphic design. You might save $1 or $2 now, but it actually hurts you in the long run.
And you know what? It's not expensive to get graphic design done these days. Like a website, I think I mentioned on the last episode, Fiverr.com. So it's Fiverr.com. You can go there now, and it sort of works a little bit like eBay, I guess. There's profiles, there's you get reviews, you can see past client feedback, things like that. You can search for a designer that you like. You can get logos done, timeline banners, header images, whatever you want, and
for next to nothing.
For next to nothing.
Like Odesk, Elance. Like I use Elance for so much over the last kind of 7 to 8 years. It is a no-brainer, but I'll go one step further, Brad. Align yourself with a graphic designer and continue to build that relationship throughout your business cycle or your business life. Like most of my clients would basically use the same type of designer, and it's reflective in that business. And I know this might sound weird to some of our listeners, but just try to adhere to this kind of philosophy, even for 3 months, a 90-day period. The way you do one thing is the way you do most things. So if your your page looks crap and you're posting crappy stuff and your flyers and your business cards and your posters, if all that looks crap, that's reflective on your business. It's one of my absolute pet hates. Crappy graphic design, people that are trying to save money, and then you look on a mobile device and the whole thing just completely looks skew. If you might be saving $1 or $2 now, but in the end, that actually hurts your business long term.
Totally agree. Consistency is the key, hey?
No doubt. No. And a high level of consistency. I mean, know your strengths, delegate your weaknesses.
Absolutely, mate. Couldn't agree more. So, Frank, that concludes another episode of the Fitness Business Marketing Show. Where does
we've already
30
finished.
Minutes go, mate? It just goes.
Yeah, I literally just had a look at the time. I can't believe how quickly that went. So
thanks for that, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Welcome.
And we'll be back in next a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, you too, Brad. Take care.
Cool. So listeners, as always, until the next Fitness Business Marketing podcast, knowledge without consistent action means very little. But when you take massive action, you are sure to generate positive results in your fitness business. To wrap things up, Alison has a quick message from our podcast sponsors. So have a great week, and bye for now.
I just want to quickly thank our major broadcast sponsor for making this Fitness Business Marketing Show possible. Marketing for Gyms and Personal Trainers offers the most comprehensive PT Business Accelerator program in the world. It was voted #1 business growth program for personal trainers in 2016. The program is currently accredited with Fitness Australia and offers 15 CEC points upon completing an online multiple choice assessment. Visit www.marketingforgyms.com and scroll down to PT Business Accelerator Program under Services for more information.